There are rules in the art world, and then you have to take a step back and think, oh, well, who made these rules? Hi, my name's Maddie, and I'm a self-taught artist. I'm in my 5th year of practice, and this year I'll be hosting an exhibition called Tween. Tween is inspired by my younger sister. She turned 13 last year, and as she was kind of like asking me questions about going to junior high, just thinking about what it was like to be a tween or a teen when I grew up, but also how that's changing now. Through this exhibit, I wanted to encapsulate what I feel like a teenage diary would look like. My teenage diary. I really liked fairies growing up, imaginative characters, definitely connecting to the fear around growing up, making new friendships, self-discovery, first crushes. I've taken pieces from 4 different bodies of work over the last 2 years that I felt like were drawing from different periods of my life, connected to this, but also visually connected to this idea of tween and growing up. All the pieces in the exhibit have been done intuitively, so approaching the bed sheet without a plan. A bulk of the pieces are from the first body of work. I had a rule that I had to start and complete the piece on that day. And that was because I felt that if I had completed the work on a different day, then I had lost touch with my initial emotions, my initial being on that day. I was journaling, and I thought that, the food I was eating would affect the creation of the piece. The music I was listening to, what I was wearing, the textures of the fabric, what was on the fabric. So I was journaling that down. Bed sheets are important to my practice because when I was first creating the mother, this was a time where I didn't have a lot of extra money, and I wanted to create large scale, so I thought, what's a way that I can mark make on something large? I said, you know what, well, maybe sheets will work. And I remember when I was a kid drawing out the table, how sometimes I get crayon on the tablecloth. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I could use crayons. And I ended up making the entire body of work. I also like to think of bed sheets as an allusion to lower income neighborhoods. I grew up low income, so having to tack up, bed sheets as a curtain. Through the materiality of my work, I'm having a conversation about classism and classism in the art world. The art world, statistically, the artists that are represented in galleries come from affluent families. Statistically, people from affluent families tend to take art. So this idea of creating opportunity for people of all backgrounds to be involved in the art world and to show their visual product. So I like this idea of using cheap materials to explore. So when we allow ourselves to use materials that aren't commercial grade, that aren't going to stand the test of time or be light fast or whatever, we're allowing ourselves to be truly creative and go wild with it. I find through looking at various paintings around the world that while they have a different visual narrative, use of colors, I find that the product tends to look the same. And I think that has a lot to do with this idea of you have the canvas, you put the gesso on, you put your various paints on, your sealants, and all these things in this process has come about of the need for art to serve as a visual product and to satisfy the commercial world. At the start of the pandemic, I started uptaking a meditation practice, like reading about different philosophies, just like the sense of letting go of the self, letting go of the need to have importance. I bring that into the work through, I don't sign my pieces, my mark making is a signature, or that digital footprint. Every time I take a picture with a piece of art I've made, that in itself is a signature. I think it was interesting to see how the pieces from the different body of works, how they all mesh together. I think it's a progression from unsophisticated mark making to sophisticated mark making. And while the pieces are all different, I really see it as an evolution of narrative and being about growing up and being an adolescent.